Hello everyone, and welcome to Mr. This is Europe, and here is Bulgaria. Now let's go, shall we? What's now Bulgaria has been inhabited for eons. The Copper Age Varna culture was a society of expert artisans, skilled metalworkers, who may have been the first goldsmiths in history. What you're looking at is a dead guy with more money than me. Now, around the end of the Bronze Age, the Thracians swept into the land, themselves skilled gold and silversmiths, masterful horsemen, and musicians. Perpetually bickering and never unified, the Thracians were conquered and under Persian rule till the Greeks pushed the Persians out of Europe. With King Teres, the Thracians finally united into the Odrysian kingdom. Here's a sample of their artistic prowess. But after a century or so, it began to fracture and was no match for Macedon. When the Roman Republic began encroaching into Thrace and enslaving folks, one captive Thracian became the famous Spartacus, a tactician of genius who led a lethal slave revolt against Rome until being finally crushed by the legions of the ruthless Marcus Licinius Crassus, who had all 6,000 surviving rebels crucified. Thrace ultimately became part of the Roman Empire, and there was peace. After Western Rome fell, Thrace became part of Eastern Rome, or Byzantium, and Slavs started invading and settling in the 5th and 6th centuries. But Bulgaria gets its name from a Turkic tribe, the Bulgars, who invaded in the 7th century under Khan Asparuch and ruled over the Slavs as a military elite. Over time, however, they adopted the language of the Slavic majority. Anyhow, the First Bulgarian Empire was established, and war with Byzantium was commonplace. Though the Byzantines were often victorious, the Bulgars did inflict crushing defeats. When Khan Krum beat a Byzantine army, he made the skull of Byzantine Emperor Nicephorus I into a drinking cup. What a crummy thing to do. The disparate peoples of Bulgaria were eventually unified by Christianity, which was officially adopted in 864 by Boris I. Bulgaria's peak in power, prestige, and culture occurred during the reign of Simeon the Great, who conquered land and beautified his capital at Preslav, where the Cyrillic alphabet was born. But Byzantium had only ever begrudgingly accepted Bulgaria and yearned to reconquer its Balkan territories. This yearning materialized with Emperor Basil II, called the Bulgar Slayer, whose merciless campaign ended the Bulgarian Empire. How merciless? After the Battle of Kladion, he had 99% of the enemy captives blinded, leaving the ones with sight to lead their unfortunate comrades back to their leader in shame. Bristling beneath the Byzantine boot, Bulgarians began rebelling. Finally, they regained freedom, and the Bulgarian Empire Part II began, with its capital at Veliko Tarnovo attaining its height under Ivan Asen II. Clashing continued concerning Constantinople and Crusaders, and everyone in this area was weakening themselves, warring with each other and warding off Mongols, meaning they were not strong enough to stop the Turkish tide. Ottoman rule lasted almost 500 years, with the proud Bulgarians reduced to humiliating subjugation. There were several uprisings over the centuries, but they were viciously squashed. But by the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was a weazened, withered wisp of what it once was. Russia saw itself as the protector of its Orthodox Christian brothers brooding in their chains, and did all it could to free them, which was a lot. The Russo-Turkish War followed the international outrage at Ottoman atrocities against Bulgarians, where tens of thousands were slaughtered by Bashar-Bazuk soldiers. Russia and its Bulgarian Upalchensi allies beat the Turks in battles like Shipka Pass, and Bulgaria was free once again. Some years later, Serbia grew uneasy at Bulgaria looking like it would be a potential boss of the Balkans, and started a war. But Bulgaria beat them. The magnificent Alexander Nevsky Cathedral was constructed in the capital Sofia, as modernization was adopted alongside militarism, and in the First Balkan War, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece, and Montenegro jointly attacked the remaining Ottoman possessions in Europe, getting more land. But when Bulgaria did not get its promised Macedonian territories, it declared war on its former allies, and ended up deprived of land it had gained in the previous war. More misery resulted from Bulgaria joining the losing side in both world wars, leaving hundreds of thousands of Bulgarian casualties, and the country ruined and run by communist dictators. Todor Zhivkov led Bulgaria for 35 years, and did the most James Bond villain thing you'll hear all day. He had a secret agent assassinate the dissident writer Georgy Markov in London with a poisoned pellet fired into his leg from an umbrella. Democracy returned in 1990, and great improvements have been made since, though corruption remains a concern. Bulgaria, which has given us a lot of science, literature, art, and sporting excellence, joined the EU in 2007, and while problems remain, it has attained a very high Human Development Index, and millions of tourists visit every year, soaking up the sights or the sun in its scenic Black Sea resorts. So good luck to Bulgaria, but as for me, it's bye for now. Bye-bye!